Okay, if you got a little dispute in your relationship, you can send us an email. We'll take it to the KVJ court and give you a ruling on how we feel. We got a husband or wife today that wants a ruling here because apparently the dad wants to ban the son from dating in high school. Here's what the email says. It says, my son is going to be a junior in high school. He's a great student and is the starting quarterback on his high school football team. And he's also a pitcher on the baseball team.
Oh, my gosh. This guy's going to pull so much tail.
His whole life is schoolwork and sports right now.
Not for long.
The other night, though, a couple of cute girls showed up at our house, and they wanted to see my son. So he goes outside to talk to them, and when he comes in, my husband asks what that was all about. My son said, oh, they're just some friends. And then my husband says, well, okay, if that's all they are. He then told my son, you don't need any distractions right now, and that's all girls are. Don't lose your focus. After my son went in his room, I confronted my husband. I asked him why he was against my son having a girlfriend and somebody that he was interested in. He said that my son has put in too much time and too much energy to reach his goals and do something special than to have a meaningless high school relationship sidetrack it. He said our son was destined for greater things and focus is paramount to him being successful. Look, I'm proud of my son and his accomplishments, but I also want him to have memories of high school that aren't just books and sports. My husband tells me that things are a little different now than when we were in high school and that my son will have more than enough time for those things later on. I was just curious if it was a reasonable mandate for parents to ban their kids from dating in high school.
This is a Morgan Wallen music video.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, this is 7 Summers. The whole video is about, they did a 3-minute version, they did like a 7 or 8 minute version.
Okay.
And it's about,
That was 7 summers ago.
Yeah, I know the song. I never really listened to the lyrics.
About the video is more about the baseball, but the dad's like, you're gonna blow your ride. He's like, I don't want what you had, Dad. And he's like, well, you're gonna blow it. It's all about the girl. And
I gotcha.
it's also another premise in another movie. It's a premise of Breakfast Club. You're gonna blow your ride. It's a premise in a couple movies.
Okay. Well,
Varsity Blues.
Okay. So this is where the dad is set. The dad thinks that the son is doing something special and he just needs to maintain focus, and a relationship in high school can wreck that. And I don't know that the dad is necessarily wrong in that, because you do need focus and you have to be very disciplined. Things are a little bit different today. Things are so competitive today, Virginia. It's really insane. The way they have the rating systems and recruiting services and everything out there, they will pick apart a kid top to bottom.
That's how it is in sports. It's that way in sports if you want to be good.
It is, and it's gotten more intense now. I think because of digital media and social media, it's easier to keep a tab on these kids and to pass around videos, and there's now massive recruiting services that are always looking at kids and what they're doing. And so the dad, in his mind, thinks this kid is probably going to go to a big school and a big scholarship, and he's going to be a big star. And having a girlfriend distracting from you, that would be tough. I mean, I see right now my son is just getting into this kind of game. And
girls or sports?
Sports.
Okay.
And high school. He's a freshman in high school.
He doesn't have any girls sniffing around over there at the Ralston Casa?
You'd have to ask his sister, because she's the real nosy one that is always checking.
I like
on
her style.
She's always looking on his Snapchat and asking who this girl might be or that girl.
Yeah, ask the questions.
I've not seen anything, but I can tell you right now, I just look at what his life is like and his schedule. And it's tough. And, you put in schoolwork, and there's not a lot of time for extracurriculars.
Look, everything's balanced in life. There's ways you can have a girlfriend or a boyfriend and still get all your stuff done. With that said, it is a distraction. So that's why it's a fine balance. You can still be a great athlete and have a girlfriend, but it is going to be a distraction. The dad's not wrong about the distraction part.
Yeah.
But the dad, I think, it's too over the top. And the kid's going to do what the kid's going to do anyway. I'm sorry. If you're 17 years old playing baseball and football and there's hot girls around and kid's he's gonna stray a little bit.
Why can't you live in both
You
worlds?
can live in both worlds.
And instead of being a dad that like drops the hammer and says no girls, rah rah rah.
Yeah, no girlfriend in high school, I think is what, at least right now, the dad is saying. And the kid's going to be a junior, so he's got 2 more years of this.
It's silly because in the past, people have been able to play 2 sports, have a girlfriend, still go to college, still go to the pros.
Yeah.
That's happened in human history. So to live in this absolute world of no girlfriend, I think is kind of dangerous. But then again, I don't have kids.
Well, and the boy, your son, is going to be mad at you for not letting him have a normal teenager high school experience.
Yeah.
Don't you want your kid to have a normal experience with dating?
But the one thing that dad is right about, if you are serious about that stuff, anything can be a distraction from that, whether it's a girlfriend, whether it's partying, if you're trying to be a good athlete. Video games.
Yeah.
All of those are distractions.
Yeah.
It's the same thing if you want to learn an instrument. It's what you're putting your time towards.
Yeah, I think if nothing else, the wife needs to say, hey, if she thinks that her son should be allowed to have a girlfriend in high school, it's about time management. And you've got to make sure that the son's setting his priorities, and schoolwork should be priority 1, sports 2. And if you've got extra time or wherever it might be, if you want to date, then you squeeze that into those extra moments.
And then
All of it should be scheduled. It sounds like this kid is going to have a crazy schedule, but you can also schedule a free night once a week when he's allowed to go out and be a normal teenager.
When it's not season, Virginia. When it's not season.
So when then he's going to get to college or a professional level, and that's going to be even more competitive. There's going to be no time for a girlfriend. So when's he going to finally have when he's 27? What's a boob? How do I undo the bra? I mean,
yeah, I think honestly, if he goes to a very competitive college, I've heard some of the stories that when you get to one of the competitive schools, they own you, and your schedule is asinine with how much time is spent just doing all the work that you have to do, your schoolwork and then your training, working out.
And guess what? People still find a way to hit it, if you know what I mean. It's just the way humans are designed.
Well, he's just going to a more intense level. And for the dad, he needs to really help guide his son and making sure that he really understands time management. You have to have that if you're going to go for the stars and as high as it sounds like this kid wants to. I think that's why and how you have to do it. Now, my question is, has anybody out there ever had to deal with a mandate from your parents that you were banned from dating in high school? And how did it go for you? And what was their reason? Maybe it wasn't sports.
I know some Hispanic dads that will not even let their daughters date until they're 18.
There was a
that's a real thing.
There was a hot girl back in the day in the high school years, and everyone just knew she was not allowed to date. There was no way it was happening, and she was so hot.
What a waste.
Oh, it was such a...
My wife talked about that. I don't know that she was really allowed to date either. You know, I think her dad was kind of that way. They would have...
She didn't date guys. She just beat them up.
I know, she did. That was it.
She got all of her aggression
She
out.
got her sexual frustrations on the guys by physically pummeling them.